Hey, what up, everybody? Steve Breach coming to you. I wanted to chit-chat a little bit about the ever-changing Daniel Bryan versus John Cena match. Honestly, I thought this was the one match on the card that I cared the most about. SummerSlam, when you break it down to it, I think anybody who's going to be ordering this show at home is caring about Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, and they're caring about Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. I think those are the two matches that are going to sell this show by far. And I thought John Cena versus Daniel Bryan standing alone is that was going to be an awesome match. No doubt in my mind. I saw Daniel Bryan becoming that first time WWE champion, and then Randy Orton always sort of hanging in the background with that Money in the Bank briefcase as like an awesome story to just to follow along with. It's like Daniel Bryan has to get over that hump to become that true main eventer in the WWE by beating somebody like John Cena. And then the one guy that happens to have the Money in the Bank briefcase is freaking Randy Orton, who at this point right now still hasn't got that little payback for that win that Daniel Bryan got against him on Monday Night Raw. That really kick-started this whole push to the top of Daniel Bryan being the most red-hot guy in WWE as the one guy that can beat anybody at this point, I guess you can say. Now, I've been really strong. I've been really strongly against this whole Triple H versus Vince storyline. I love Triple H. I've loved Vince. But I've seen this power struggle before as a wrestling fan, and I know that like Jim Cornette is like every 8 years you can repeat angles and do things over again and change things a little bit along the way, because the way that the wrestling fans seem to tune in and tune out is that you'll be able to have a newer audience that's never seen this stuff before. And I know that the whole Triple H and Stephanie and Vince McMahon thing was way back in 1999, 14 years ago. That's a long time, but honestly, I haven't tuned out in those. Well, yeah, I did. I apologize. I tuned out for like 2 years around WrestleMania 19, but I still remember this, and I remember it like it was yesterday, and it just seems like something we've seen before. We all know that Triple H one day will be taking that role and will be the Vince McMahon of wrestling, and however far WWE goes and grows from this point is on his shoulders. But until then, Vince, has his hand on his own throat, I guess you can say, and he's the guy who's going to say when he's done and he's won out. Honestly, in my opinion, unless some serious accident happens to Vince McMahon, I see him, staying in the role he's in forever. I mean, like, until he dies, basically. I don't think he's going to let go of this company that he grew since the day that his father passed it on to him. And he'll pass it on to his daughter and his son-in-law, and they'll go from there. But Triple H, I went crazy for him last night. Triple H is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Hulk Hogan, Triple H. That's my short list of guys right there. There's a lot of guys underneath there. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Ric Flair. They're on there, but they're one step below. Those are my two guys that I always knew that I was to care. No matter what angle they were in, I was going to love what they were doing. I don't really love him being the special guest referee. The first thing that honestly came to mind, you can ask Zach, WWE Punk Fan 19. He was sitting, right behind me. And the first thing that came out of my mouth when he said that he needed to become the special guest referee and take Brad Maddox's spot was like, that what I was talking about earlier with the whole 99 storyline with Triple H and with Vince. That was 14 years ago. But only 2 years ago at SummerSlam, Triple H was the special guest referee of CM Punk versus John Cena because he felt that he needed to be in there to show law and order and find the real WWE champion out of all that whole mess of having two champions at the same time. And he fucked that finish up, and we never even got an angle out of it. I've never heard a true story, if it was storyline that they were going to build on, that Cena had his foot on the rope and Triple H didn't see it, or if maybe there's some backstage heat storyline that maybe John Cena didn't want to lose to Triple H, and he pulled the Psycho Sid and he put his foot on the ropes just to cover himself up and make him look good. Later on in life, if Punk dropped the ball, he could always say that he never really lost that match, or I don't know, some shit like that. But CM Punk got the storyline, because he got cashed in on right after that, and he went on to, get in a storyline with Kevin Nash and Triple H, and the Kevin Nash storyline never even panned out. So what the hell were those 2011 writers thinking at that time? It's just crazy. And then Cena just lost that match and became the #1 contender again, and he went on to fight Alberto Del Rio at Night of Champions, and no one ever talked about the foot being on the rope. Triple H as a referee screwed that match up, and as of what I can know of, that was the last time he was a referee. So what makes him any better than what Brad Maddox would have brought to the table? Yeah, Brad Maddox overstepped his authority, and he did the Sacramento screw job. Hashtag that for me, by the way. Daniel Bryan lost that match to Wade Barrett. But I don't know. That was my honest-to-God opinion. When I got home, I read a lot of things on some wrestling boards. I looked through my Twitter timeline, and the people in Sacramento seemed to love it. We went crazy for Triple H. We've always been a real Triple H city. The people that were chanting boring to John Cena during his promo need to go back, and they need to rewatch that shit, because he was speaking from the heart there, and that was thunder coming out of his mouth. That was money. I had to try to tune out those boring people as often as I could. Sacramento's never really liked John Cena. And, I apologize. I was getting ready to boo John Cena at the Bash 09, and the place went crazy for him when he was fighting The Miz. But for some reason, since then, they've really turned on him, and then they're just not somebody that he wants to cheer for. I thought that promo was one of the best promos he's ever done. And even if it didn't really relate about wrestling, and it was more about, being outside of wrestling, and Daniel Bryan becoming the superstar that he believes in himself, and there's more to being a superstar than actually wrestling, and it's doing stuff like the Make-A-Wish stuff. And always seeing the videos and the things that they do for the Make-A-Wish thing, they've been really, really strong on that thing. I think John Cena's granted 200 wishes. Hulk Hogan has granted some, ungodly number of wishes. That's stuff that, once you have kids and you look back on those things, you know that you do anything in the world for your kids. And the kid they showed in the front row, I believe in that story, and I really think he is, some sort of a cancer patient that John Cena went to go visit. And to see that, that kid, goes on to live another day because, he believes in what John Cena says, and hustle, loyalty, and respect, and never give up, is like, you don't even know what that means for a father out there. That shit's crazy, and the responsibility that John Cena takes on as being the poster boy is just crazy. And I don't even know how I got started to talk about that. I just wanted to put over how great that promo was. I hope Miz learned something from that, just for being in that ring. I've always really believed in Miz and thought that he could come along to become, that main event guy, and he got his run, and he hasn't really been, pushed back to that spot. The highest he's got is the Intercontinental Championship, and, with hopefully Rock being out of the loop now. Hopefully, I think that the last WrestleMania was his last. Guys like him and Wade Barrett can move towards, becoming those guys for the WWE, and they really move forward. But the internet really went crazy on Triple H, sort of, calling him a glory hog, saying that he just stuck his nose in there because he didn't really have anything else going on. There better be a damn good payoff for this Triple H and Steph thing. If they turned heel, if Vince is the heel in all of this, if this is supposed to drag all the way to Mania, there's going to be a lot of stomach groaning going on every time we see stuff pop up like this in pay-per-views. This match was selling the pay-per-view on its own, and I think, honestly, by adding Triple H to it, it hurt a little bit. We're going to have to see how it pans out. I know LA is going to go crazy. Hopefully we'll be all doing the yes. Hopefully we'll all cheer John Cena. Hopefully it'll be 50-50, but I don't know. I love both of these guys, but the story that I see playing out in my head is that, Daniel Bryan, wins. He beats John Cena, and then we have to see what happens with Randy Orton. I would love to see Randy Orton come down to cash in, and honestly, by some sort of luck, Daniel Bryan's able to pull the win out, and then, if Cena has to leave to get his elbow worked on, then, Randy Orton will still be your #1 contender, and we can have some regular matches after that. Just because, Orton loses the cash-in match doesn't mean that he can't win a match later on down the road. But Orton versus Bryan, I think, would be a good feud. If we get more Cena versus Bryan and it's less about Total Divas and more about wrestling, that'll be awesome as well. But there's 1,000 ways this can go. I think people frowned on it yesterday. I honestly am not a big fan about Triple H sticking his big nose into there. But we'll have to see how it pans out. It's going to be fun regardless. SummerSlam 2013. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of 2011. Hopefully Triple H can see the feet on the ropes.